Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In today's episode, get me fired? It's a small world, isn't it? I lied to my friend who was annoying me with indirect weight loss talk and made her look foolish. The job that fired me then hired 3 people to replace me. Brother thought he was smart, he was not. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. Get me fired? It's a small world, isn't it? I'm recently retired from healthcare administration, and I feel for you younger guys who don't know how you can ever retire. Sometimes I feel like I was in the last generation that had any real chance at the American dream. Anyway, that's not the story. Years ago, I was working in a very dysfunctional academic medical center. My boss, a really decent guy, who didn't play the political games well enough, got fired. He got replaced, the new boss which hired someone else in a management position over me, let's call her witch number 2. Among other things, W number 2 had me write up a business proposal that I was in no way qualified to do. It really needed a group of actuaries and a whole lot of financial data. We didn't have to do it right. Her instructions to me were that it had to be break even by year 2. Which was ludicrous. I kept my head down and worked hard. I was young and stupid, and was eventually fired for BS reasons so they could bring their own people in. Someone else in the medical center then hired me because I had a good reputation, which really pissed off W1 and W2, but my new boss didn't care. I eventually found a good job at another health system that was successful and growing. The academic med center I had worked at was not doing well financially. Then someone in another department said to me one day, "You were at academic med center, do you know which number 2? She's applied for a position with us." I replied yeah, she had me fake the numbers to make her proposal look good. My colleague thanked me for my input. Which number 2 did not get hired. I lied to my friend who was annoying me with indirect weight loss talk and made her look foolish. I posted this on AITA a few days ago and someone suggested I cross-post it here, because it is indeed a petty revenge story. This happened a while ago. I, 39F then, gained about 50 pounds when I was pregnant. My friend M, 55F, had no kids herself, so she had no first-hand clue about how some people's bodies can change. M was careful not to say anything directly about my weight. But I could tell how she felt because she made lots of comments about diet and exercise. I figured I would lose weight breastfeeding, as I had with my other babies, but they were born when I lived in a different city from M, so she didn't see me in person then. When I went over to M's house before, she used to offer me snacks like chips. But now she started offering me only things like cut veggies with 0-calorie dip. She tried to convince me to go on walks with her, but I was exhausted. I had to go back to work full-time and I got enough exercise already, so I almost always said no. Once I even spotted some chips in her kitchen and said, "Can I please get a few of those?" She said no, those were her husband's, so I couldn't have any. Okay, fine, even though they were never off limits to me before I got fat. I knew she meant well, but after months of her pushing me to live healthier, meaning lose weight, I started to get annoyed. I was already eating healthy and exercising when I could, and the baby weight was indeed coming off from breastfeeding. Note, breastfeeding is not a guaranteed way to lose weight for everyone, but it fortunately was for me. I reached a point where I was really tired of M's support. So when she started pushing exercise and nutrition, I told her, my body is different from having a baby, and I'm happy the way I am, and I don't see any reason to change myself or my habits. She nodded, but she still didn't stop. So here is where I might be TA. I started telling her outright that I hadn't lost any of the baby weight. This was a lie. I had dropped about 15 pounds. Then 20. Then after about a year, when I weaned my son, I had lost it all, and I fit into most of my old clothes, and I was still saying to M, I'm happy the way I am, even at my new weight. And M kept going on and on with the diet and exercise talk. I had stopped finding it annoying at this point, and started finding it funny. One day, a mutual friend said to M that I was looking good lately after losing weight, and M insisted to her that I hadn't lost any at all. The friend pointed out that I was obviously much thinner, and she said M probably hadn't seen me lately. But she had just seen me the day before. So the next time I met M, she asked, "Did you lose weight and not tell me?" I said, "Yeah, maybe a bit." She thought I was TA for telling her all along that I hadn't lost weight. But I said, "Come on, you have eyes that work just fine." Instead of noticing me getting thinner right in front of her face, she somehow got stuck in her mindset that I needed support to be healthier, and as a result, she looked like a fool in front of at least one mutual friend, and maybe others, too. Edit. Wow, this got far more attention here than it did in AITA. For the record, I was voted NTA over there, but I think I was a little bit of an A because my friend did truly mean well. However, she wouldn't stop even after I asked her to, and I should have made it clearer in my post that I asked her multiple times, in multiple ways, to stop commenting on my health habits, and by implication, on my body. I should also say that my friend is child-free very much by choice, so her behavior wasn't rooted in jealousy. Also, she is an otherwise lovely person, and years later, she is still in my life, and has never done anything intrusive and annoying like that again. Even though I've put on some weight over the years, she's stayed silent about it. So maybe she learned her lesson? And for everyone here telling me what a jerk I was, why do you read the Petty Revenge sub if you don't want to hear stories of people acting like jerks in petty ways? Boofing who? I know gaslighting is wrong, but I was really exasperated and I would do it all over again. The job that fired me then hired 3 people to replace me. This is less petty revenge and more karmic hilarity about a job I lost about 15 years ago. I am old. I admit freely to doing what my bosses accuse me of doing, which is 1, goofing off when I have nothing to do, 2, having manager passwords I shouldn't technically have. For 1, ADHD actually comes in handy, and added to being smart I picked things up quickly and was often able to do a day's work by lunch, so I kinda goofed off until bosses found other work for me to do. As for 2, my father also worked for the company and gave me the password so I wouldn't have to come to him every 15 minutes. So I did have his permissions to use the password. Now here is where the revenge part comes in. The boss that fired me actually asked me to train my replacement. My father, who remember worked for the company as well, said yeah, because it meant 2 more weeks of pay as he started to send out my resume. As I trained my replacement, I realized how much I actually did beyond my job description because the girl I trained could not keep up. After I finally left, my father told me my boss had to hire 2 more people just to replace me. Oh yeah, a month later my father quit too. The place I worked for got bought out 6 months later. Brother thought he was smart, he was not. This happened years ago, when I was like 12 years old. I'm 28 now. My older brother was probably about 16 or so at the time. We went to a family friend's wedding, and all of us, my immediate family and some friends, were all sat on a table together. My brother had stolen a quarter from me, 25 cents for non-North Americans, and wouldn't give it back. He held that coin hostage and made me get him drinks from the open bar, like Pepsi. After the second time, on the way back to the table, I spat in his drink. Everyone on my table, except my brother, who was facing away from me, saw this. They said nothing. My brother drank it, didn't give me my coin back, so I told him I spit in it. Obviously he was mad and humiliated and demanded I go get him another drink. Which I did. And I spat in that one too. Everyone on the table was doing their best not to crack up. He still doesn't give me my quarter back. I let him get a quarter of the way through the drink, seemed fitting, and told him I spat in it again. Everyone was in hysterics. He kicks off, everyone is laughing at him, and he has the genius idea to make me get him a new drink. Before I go, he realizes his error and goes and gets one himself. He didn't realize he forgot to take my quarter with him as a hostage, so I stole it back. Favorite thing I've ever done, lol. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.